Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name's Farah Halaby and I'm a professional Muslim life coach, and this week in the UK has been it's Mental Health Awareness Week, and the official theme this year is loneliness. And as we have come out of pandemic and lockdown restrictions, the real effect of isolation and of loneliness on our mental well-being is more apparent. And I see that a lot in the wonderful, amazing clients that I work with, in the challenges that are brought to the sessions, and especially since the end of Ramadan. Doesn't Ramadan feel like so long ago? Doesn't Eid feel like it was a long time ago? And subhanAllah, we're not even 2 weeks after Eid. Hasn't it gone quick? Hasn't it just back to the same old? And for a lot of the amazing women that I work with, the challenges of that loneliness, feeling that they're isolated, maybe not in their physical sense, but feeling lonely and isolated in their spiritual well-being, in their mental well-being, and for some of them in their physical well-being, feeling that they're on their own, that they're left to carry the worries, the concerns, the anxieties, the stresses of all of the expectations of how life should be, and they're carrying it very much on their own. To the outside world, they're doing their thing. And I speak to so many women who, first of all, say to me, this is not me. If you asked anyone, if they thought that I would be the one to reaching out for help or to be working on my challenges, people might not believe you, because to the outside they're just doing their thing. They're the strong ones. They're the ones that carry on regardless. They're the ones that chug on with looking after their families, looking after their loved ones, in their work, in their home life, and they're doing all of that on a very public arena. But in here, it's a completely different story. And even if they were in a room, or even if they were in a home with their families, with their loved ones, lots of people around, but if they are really honest with themselves, they're really, really lonely in their thinking, in the way in which they feel that they have to carry that load on their own. Now that we have come out of the security of Ramadan, and in that respect I mean security by everything geared up to having a Ramadan where shaitan is locked away, where you increase your ibadah, where you really go all out to do as much as you can, inshallah, to earn the rewards that are afforded to us in the beautiful month of Ramadan. For some of them, it's the other end. It's the thinking about everything that they want to be doing, should be doing, could be doing, and actually not doing any of that, or not doing as much as they'd hoped. And all the while, to the outside world, they're carrying along their day, they're looking after their kids, they're going to work, they're carrying on with their homes, they are interacting with people. But the story on the outside and the story on the inside are so different. So I'll ask you, do you feel lonely? Are you isolated? What does that mean for you? Are you, in your mind, in yourself, a completely different person to the one that is portrayed to everyone else, to the person that goes about their day, doing everything and anything, carrying the load, doing all the stuff, living the life that supposedly everyone else is seeing you as, the strong one, the one that carries on? How does that feel within you? Do the two identities marry up? Because for a lot of the women that I speak to, it's almost like there's a veneer, there's this mask, there's this person or identity, or they're a caricature almost of themselves. And like I say, to the outside world, they are a certain person, they have certain characteristics, they have certain qualities, they're just getting on with things. But on the inside, it's a very different story, and it gets to the point where there's only so much that they feel that they can carry on with. It sounds like a cliche, I know, but again, if you are not filling your cup, then what have you got to pour? What have you got to give to anyone else? If you are running on empty, on reserves, on fumes, putting yourself at the very end of the to care for list, and you take everyone else's care, you know, you put it up here, and you're, you know, even if you make the list, you'd be at the bottom. You know, some of us don't even make our own to care for list. We think about everyone else. We think about the kids. We think about work. We think about our spouse, our family, our community, our homes. But when it comes to us, we are very alone in that. So I'll ask you, what does loneliness and isolation mean for you? This is something that I'm working on a lot with my clients, and especially this week. And the work that we do is really getting to an understanding, or helping my clients go through the process of an understanding to help them realise what's going on for them, how they've got to this idea, this way of living, what has built up to it, how they portray themselves, how they go out in this world, and what they have to do in order to manage the public persona, if you like, as opposed to really managing what's going on behind closed doors, behind the veneer, and helping them really align their thinking, their feeling, their behaviours, their intentions, their purposes, their goals, their why, their experience of life, aligning the elements that make them them. Because as human beings, we're described so beautifully and articulated so beautifully in the Quran, but we are, to make us human, we are spiritual, psychological and physiological beings. You take any one of those things away and we cease to be human. Without our bodies, we're just mist, maybe. Without our psychology, the power to think, we're just shells, like robots. Without our spirituality, well, how do we interpret Allah? How do we get a sense of who we are in the grand scheme of things in relation to the Creator? So you take any one of those things away and we cease to be human. So understanding the elements that make us human, and by attending to all three of those elements, a three-pronged approach, a more holistic approach to who we are, and helping us really understand the way in which, you know, when our physical we have physical ailments, how the knock-on effect to our spiritual and our psychological happen, and the way in which if one of those parts of us is affected, it will have a knock-on effect to everything else. So by attending to us in our totality, in ourselves, in our whole selves, we've got more of an idea, we've got more of a guide, really, to help who we are in a complete sense take action and show up in the world in a way that is not only pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but in a way that we don't have to act, we don't have to put on a mask, that we are in alignment with who we are. We can go out and, for want of a better word, be our authentic selves, be our true selves, operating from a place of not having to, keep all those plates spinning, by being you. Because alhamdulillah, we're pretty awesome. It's when we think that we're, that we think that we're not. We think that, we're not good enough, or we think that we are, we're the only ones that are going through these things, that, everyone else in the world seems to be doing life all very well, but we're the only ones that are suffering. And that can be really, really lonely. You could be in a room full of 100 people and feel the most alone, feel the most isolated, if you are not in alignment with who you are. So this week I have been offering my help to anyone, to any Muslim woman who has had that sense of, or who has felt lonely or isolated, not specifically to do with the pandemic, but who has felt that way. And I'm almost completely booked. I've had a lot of sessions this week, but I wanted to offer that help for free this week, because if not now, when? How long do you think it will be before acting the part, or trying to keep that mask, trying to keep all those plates spinning? How long do you think it will be before that's not quite cutting it anymore. Before one of those plates falls, before the mask drops, what would your life look like if you didn't have to wear a mask? If you didn't have to keep those plates spinning? If you could go out in this world and be you and the wonder that is you? Think on that. And if this resonates with you, if this video, if the idea of loneliness and isolation is something that you're going through right now, then contact me. I've got a couple of appointments left. I'm going to put up the link to my calendar, but this is what I do with my clients. I go, life is the main event. This is it. No one's going to live your life for you. No one can think for you. No one can feel for you. No one can take the actions for you. And the process that I take my clients through is really, it's when they're ready to make a change now. For those people who are ready to try something new, because for a lot of my clients, they've tried lots of different things, lots of different therapies, or lots of different tools and techniques. But subhanallah, what we go through is a process that helps them, first of all, understand who they are, but also in a way that helps them move forward. It's for people who want to, first of all, solve the most difficult problems in their lives permanently. It's not a quick fix. It's not slapping a plaster on. It is really helping them find a solution to the most difficult problems in their lives permanently, and then creating from that space the life that they want, creating a life that they will love, where they don't have to wear a mask, where they are themselves, embracing that in all its glory. So I'm going to pop on the link in the comments. I think they'll be above or below, depending on where you're watching this. Send me a message. If the calendar is full, then pop me an email to connect@farahalabi.com. And inshallah, I look forward to hearing from you very, very soon. As always, I pray that you are safe, well, happy and healthy. And I'll see you next time. But for now, take care. Assalamu alaikum.